Alright, here we go. This is a custom 3v3 on Twin Peaks between the blue team on the left side, Omegasaxon in the standard Warthog, Fnoo in the Steampunk Osprey, and Mr. Brush in the standard Neo, not in a booster saucer trying to rush at the beginning if you are actually Mr. Brush there. And we do have the green team in the right-hand corner, RagingNoIraz in the Deep Sea Osprey, MauserTeleri. Oh, Mauser is what you're gonna be called from now on, buddy. In the Raptor Neo, and Wreckz in also the Deep Sea Osprey, and we have a normal, typical push on the bottom from green team, but blue team actually trying to finish off as many neutrals as they can over here at the top first. They did get these smoking. Wow, very, very efficient by blue team, getting every single neutral within reach. Two smoking black. Not the same exact case for green team, but we do have Raging doing a little scout over here, trying to kill whoever he can. Almost kills Omegasaxon, but Omegasaxon gets that level up, and Raging is forced to run away now. We do have this outpost. The right outpost has been claimed by green. They are trying to grab these. Wreckz does grab that Dillo before it scoots over to its death on the left side. And blue also has been able to take control of their outpost on the left side. So now we do have a little bit of an advance by green team over here, but a lot of the blue tanks are dropped over here using the trees as cover. It's really, really good to drop them in these trees on Twin Peaks, because these trees on Twin Peaks are extremely good at disguising, not necessarily hiding the unit itself, but it's really hard to see how much is in a certain area. So I typically love hiding artillery and the seekers and stuff down here, just because the opponent has a hard time, especially at this quick flyby glance, to really determine how many units are over here. And right now, Wreckz and all of green team actually trying to push. Oh, and we do see Omegasaxon and Fnoo taking out two of the green players, and we only have Raging over here, gonna be killed, almost killed actually, very, very low on life. Does rush back to his outpost, healing up what he can as this Osprey. But you know, not saving that much. Every single one of these units is extremely under fire from three different mechs. Omegasaxon going down, and Mr. Brush also getting killed. So now it's the exact opposite situation with only one Osprey on the blue team over here, and they might even lose a little bit of ground the same way that green lost a little bit of ground when there was almost a complete wipe on their side. And that kind of is the case. Fnoo is forced to pull back a little bit. Mauser getting killed before he gets back. He was standing way too close over here. He was under a fire from a lot of the tanks, and he really should have just cloaked away or got out of there. He does even have level 1 cloak already, at level 3, and we are only in quarter 1 still, with less than not even 2 minutes left. But we do have a lot of artillery out for green, not as many for blue, so green will have this slight advantage in terms of pushing. Omegasaxon trying to drop and shoot with, you know, that strong Warthog fire, but it's just really risky to drop this close. Fortunately for him, there weren't that many Seekers, actually no Seekers over here at all, or hats, and I do think blue, with a slightly better spread and a little bit closer formation to the green side, does have a slightly better advantage in terms of this outpost fight. A lot of mechs going down back and forth, but the big problem, the big difference here is that blue has a lot of has not that many artillery. They only have 2 out on the field. 1 wasn't even pointing in the right direction, and green is pretty much spamming artillery. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 arties on the field right now for green team, and it is just raining havoc down on blue. And we do see a drop here by Mauser. He did not actually, I don't think he brought a unit, but he was just trying to kill a stocky unit however he could, and does get chased down by Mr. Brush by that other Neo. And now at this point, the green team is just down 1 player. Not going to be able to do that much with just these. Well, these 2 Ospreys are actually extremely good on this map, just with this artillery war here. So they can just fly in circles and just heal up all their artillery, which will be extremely effective in not even just in the short run, the long run, and you know, everything. A couple of units do go down for green, but no, actually they save a lot of them. And Omegasaxon still on the ground here, a little bit dangerous, and probably needs to walk away before he lifts off, and does get back to his outpost before he dies. But we do see Raging and Wreckz healing up really, really crazy, really, really well. We do see a Jammerod on the field for blue team, which is very, very rare nowadays. I don't think I've ever seen a jammer in any of the recent games I've played. How little I've actually played, but in terms of how much I've seen jammers, in terms of casting as well, there is not very many jammers out on field at all anymore whatsoever. There is one down, still the same one down by blue team. You know what? At this point, I am not clear on the rules of jammers, because they've just been changed up like crazy. Omegasaxon barely getting away before he dies there. And now we do have still a great number of artillery out for green team. This one is a little too far to fire, and not that many out for blue team. Blue team is definitely losing this fight. They barely have any more units left in this area, and I do think they will eventually be pushed on by green team once green team decides that they have enough units to go at it. And Mauser getting really, really close out there, trying to get that EMP. Not really 100% necessary. It is a little bit risky to do that. I don't think the reward outweighs the risk there. And Mauser, where is Mauser? Very, very close again. He also gets hit by that EMP and almost gets killed on his way back, but with that cloak, is able to avoid fire just for enough time. And Mr. Brush bombing now. So that is one of their only, viable options at this point, just because they have almost no more units left over here. And Mr. Brush just doing a lot of bombing, but the problem is there are two Ospreys over here healing these like crazy. And Mauser, now with very little units on blue side, is able to way overextend himself on that side, just because it's not overextending anymore. He's just way deep in enemy territory, and not even that deep, because enemy territory ends about here. Right about here at the vertical line at this socket is pretty much where the blue units end and green's battlefield begins. And green really just needs to start leapfrogging their tanks, or even just do a tank push. With all of these artillery in support, they will be able to do a great push to take this bottom outpost. Not that much harass going down by either team anymore, and we do see the two Ospreys on the green team going down. And at this point, Mauser is the one forced to do the micro healing, and with those two Ospreys down, Wreckz is going to be Mr. Brush is going to be able to do a lot of his successful bombing, and on this extremely close outpost fight, it's going to be very, very effective, as they will not be able to focus him down as easily as a longer map like such as Sandrum or Thar, and he is going to be able to do bombing run after bombing run, and Fnoo is able to drop down a lot more artillery here, so they can start trying to make a comeback. But the problem is, every single time they drop an artillery, it's in the line of fire of the other artillery. They really need to start putting artillery up at the top or down at the bottom. Now we do see a push coming up for green, albeit however small. It's just not that many, but they have been able to neutralize this outpost, and it is forcing blue team to really, really back out. Fnoo, the only one left over here, an Omegasaxon coming over, not trying to save a unit, but I'm not really sure, just trying to shoot some stuff up. He will get himself killed if he's not careful. He does get killed by those were the seeker missiles, but a lot of the fire was going down by blue team. Fnoo also gets killed in the air by Mauser, and now green is going to be able to push up on this outpost and really, really do a great job taking it. They will be able to completely fortify it, as there is pretty much nothing left for blue team. Blue team with those levelers was able to keep up level-wise with green team, but the problem is those levelers pretty much I would say that that lost them that fight there, just because they weren't able to produce nearly as much artillery as green team was, and it's just really, really dangerous to put those levelers on a map like this where there's barely any sockets anymore. I'm assuming this was a random game, but it's still, if you bring levelers, don't just bring them and decide, yes, I need to use the levelers. You really, really need to decide if it's good for that current situation, and we do see, obviously, blue losing that bottom. Next step, go for top, try to take this top, but we also see green team starting to destroy the stuff on their side as well. We do see Wreckz pushing up with a lot of tanks, and Mauser did get killed down there at the bottom, but we do have both of these Ospreys leading with a Longhorn, exactly what they need to do. If you don't have a Goliath, lead with a Longhorn. And they have a significant amount more units over here at the top, obviously because they have much more economy and they have a lot more credits. Omegasaxon trying to kill what he can here, but it's just really, just landing there is pretty much already just a suicide. It's pretty much playing a suicide warhog play. This will pretty much go to blue. Oh no, a lot of the bulbs do get knocked down by a lot of the surrounding green units, and I do not see much hope for blue to actually take this with so many green units over here. And green has not been able to push up to this ledge yet, to this open area yet, or even on the bridge. So they have been trying to hold their ground right here, and still this this top fight is going for this power station is going down by green, and Omegasaxon taking down Wreckz. They have been able to take this outpost, but if Raging doesn't try to spam any infantry defensively, this will go back down to neutral, and it is actually still at 4 bulbs, so I'm not really sure how that was happening. I guess most of the units over here were absorbing the fire versus the actual outpost itself. We do see a little bit of artillery getting pushed up on these bridges, but Mr. Brush is going to be able to either force them back or actually kill them with most of green's attention focused all the way up here. We do have Mauser trying to push up what he can. He's just moving him up. He better, I mean, if I were him, I would really advise him right now to just put them all in hold position, because just by himself here and with Mr. Brush here to attack, I mean, these Seekers are also going to do a really good job pushing back these mechs, but he really needs to set them on hold position once they hit this area, because over here is Blue's territory. There are 2 outposts over there for Blue to be able to reinforce this, and this is a little bit irresponsible of Mauser to be able to let these go so far. He's really going for a killing blow here, although it is very effective now because we are hitting halftime. So if he could have put down some damage on this blue 4, which is not happening right now, it would have been a great move, maybe just to micro some of these units all around the fort, and I guess not all around, just because only about half of it is accessible by ground. But, you know, if he got a little bit of damage in, that would have been a really, I guess, a sort of a justified push, I guess is what you could say, but there is no damage going down, so Blue is getting the full amount of credits, you know, whatever they, I don't think they had much life gone, and they do have a lunchbox up, so they aren't getting much, they are getting the full benefit of those credits, along with Green is as well, but Blue is the team that really needs it at this point, and Omegasaxon and Mr. Brush have quite a lot of credits, and they are spending, Omega is spending it on, Mr. Brush is spending it on Berthas, and Omega has not spent a lot of it yet. Fnoo, and actually Wreckz and Mauser have a lot of credits as well, and they are Wreckz is spending it on Goliaths, so they will be able to do quite a powerful push here from the bottom. But the problem is, if Mr. Brush sets up a lot of those Berthas, that will shut down a Goliath push pretty well. Goliaths do move slow enough to avoid this new mechanic of moving units are really able to avoid the fire of enemy artillery. And Mr. Brush almost getting himself killed. This is very fortified. I don't see this getting broken anytime soon, except I was about to say, except by a Bertha. So if that Bertha sits there uncontested, all of Green's units are pretty much going to be killed. Omegasaxon doing a little bit of hero hugging here at the front door, does springboard away, but not enough, not fast enough to be able to save himself. So if I were him, I probably would have just stayed there to hero hog, if you know, because he was pretty much going to be dead if he had less than half of his life. He was pretty much a death sentence trying to run away there. So, but we do have a lot of Berthas pushing up here. I do think this will be extremely effective with 3 Seekers here to defend, and Mr. Brush firing in as the ground fight. And Fnoo is here to heal up this one Seeker that is under fire, but Mauser doing that EMP is going to be really effective against these Seekers, but does get killed by Fnoo on the way out. And Omegasaxon back here with his Warthog fire. They are cleaning up fairly well. But these Berthas, one of them was pulled back. If I were, I mean, I would assume that Fnoo would just be here, sitting here healing the entire time. But he is bringing Goliath out of queue, and this is going to be a fight for this bottom. For this top, and I don't know why Mauser and Wreckz are not helping. I mean, and Raging. I guess Raging was respawning. He did get killed, and Mauser did get killed a bunch of times sitting up here. And Wreckz going down there to the triple team, and the triple team also killing Raging. And now Blue is going to really be able to clean up these units, especially if they work together and leapfrog all these units. This Goliath really needs to move up, but Omegasaxon almost dead. Very close, does die. There was another Seeker sitting over here, but Mr. Brush, with these bombing, is going to be able to retake this outpost, I think, especially who is this? Who am I focused on? Fnoo has 4 probes queued up. But we do have a pretty large Goliath push. I do not think this is, that is like 8 Goliaths. 7. There is 7 Goliaths, but regardless, that is way too much for Blue to handle. Mauser really needs to, they really need to start microing these Goliaths around to be able to pretty much give Blue no hope of surviving this. Although there is pretty much no hope at this point. There are, but all 3 Blue members are here to try to defend. They do not have that many blocking units. However, the problem is Green is not. Okay, now Wreckz has repositioned that one Goliath, but Wreckz goes down. And at this point, where is Raging? Raging is trying to bring a Dillo from his outpost, but didn't actually bring it all the way. He's trying to micro this Goliath around, but does not get it. And these Goliaths are, the Goliaths of Blue Team are blocking very well. There is still a little bit of fire going down from Green Team, and Blue Team is almost dead here at this point. Very low on life, but the rest of the Goliaths will be cleaned up, although now Green, all they have to do is pretty much some fort drops. So what Blue really needs to do now is create a great wall, ideally of Goliaths and Longhorns. I mean, most ideally of Goliaths, just to block as much as possible. Wreckz trying to get that extra little bit of damage left in. He probably will. Oh no, he does get finished off, and Mauser also the same thing. So Green has been handled in this area. Raging dropping a single Dillo, but Fnoo there to body block, and so now Blue really does need to make a wall. If they do not make a wall, they are completely dead. And on Twin Peaks, it is not that bad because only half of your outpost is exposed. Has Raging been able to drop this in a hole? No, he has not. And this one is actually also blocked by the lunchbox as well, so they have not been able to find sufficient enough holes to really be able to put in any damage. And Wreckz trying to get, but does not get through that lunchbox shield. Mauser also trying to do the same thing, and is he going to be able to get through the lunchbox shield? I don't know. It doesn't show the deterioration of the lunchbox shield on this UI. And he does almost get it. He got like a small sliver, barely, from that lunchbox. But now we do see Blue with the top power station, and Mr. Brush hopefully will, okay, yeah, bring these tanks, reinforce what he can, and probably try to reinforce this area as well, just so they won't be able to drop any damaging artillery such as Bertha or Archies or Arties over here to mess with your units on this side, but probably drop a Longhorn or so somewhere over here, so at the very most, artillery over here is what is the only thing that's threatening you. And right now, Blue has created a fair wall, but not really that 100% drop proof. They really need to reposition the Goliaths. I mean, it really, at this point, with such a low amount of life left, it really is worth it to take the extra 20 seconds, even 20 seconds. In AirMech, 20 seconds is an eternity, but to take an extra 20 to 30 seconds even to try to make a really, really good impenetrable, not necessarily impenetrable, because, obviously you can use that momentum to be able to push through any wall, but if you can create a really good wall, then it really is worth it, just because that will sufficiently protect you from death. And, position Goliath sideways such as this. This one can be positioned a little bit better. Fnoo repositioning it, but not putting it in wall position. Instead, replaces a Longhorn there instead. Oh, and Fnoo. Oh, I thought he dropped here at this outpost. And right now, Blue team is a little bit drawn for what they should do, and Mauser going down. Mauser just is dying quite a lot here just because he's really overextending. I know I say it quite a lot, but if you get too far, I mean, most of the time, unless you're literally playing a Warthog or Bomber suicide style play, and Mr. Brush dropping here over on the top of this outpost and will be able to probably get the generator kill unless Mauser decides to save it. He is not trying to save it, and that it does get killed. But yes, unless you are doing a Warthog or Bomber suicide play, most of the time, the majority of the time, anytime you overextend yourself to try to get in a little bit more damage, a little bit more whatever, I mean, whatever you're trying to do, most of the time it is not worth deaths. And to be honest, if you trade off not dying for something that was maybe potentially worth dying, I would say it's definitely worth it just to play it safe, because what you can do in the time that you are not dead is incomparable to what you lost in death. So at this point, Blue is starting to push up on Green's bottom. Wow, interestingly enough, they are starting to move down. A Goliath here being healed by Fnoo, so that is pretty darn OP, and Wreckz saving that other one, but does die with it in cargo, and it's not going to be able to save these two Berthas. Where are the rest of the green players? Raging is here to drop back Bertha, and he does drop it on the socket and is trying to heal himself up, but Blue is not trying to focus him down, and it does save that other Bertha as well. And Omega getting hit with that EMP by Mauser gets finished off on the ground, but we are kind of reset here at the bottom, with Blue owning this outpost and Green owning the right outpost, and pretty much no units defending at this point. So now it is kind of an even game, but the thing that makes it pretty uneven. Oh, and we do see Wreckz trying to fire in. Will he be able to kill his Gemini? No. That Gemini does not get killed. Will the other Gemini kill it? No. So this wall has not been penetrated quite yet. And right now, Omegasaxon trying to deal with these 3 Dillos that were dropped, but in front of all these Goliath and Omegasaxon's Warthog fire will not be able to penetrate the wall even close. Not even close. And Omega queuing up another Goliath. I think he will try to make a better wall here, and he is going to do that. He is going to drop it right here in front of all this stuff, and not really trying to reposition in terms of orientation for those tanks, but it probably is going to be sufficient enough such that Green is not going to be able to do any drops, and Wreckz coming with a Goliath that is the one thing that is the most threatening for Blue, and he is dropping it here on the side, trying to kill this one. The weakest link here is this Dillo. He does get it killed, but he is going to get caught by Mr. Brush, gets hit by that EMP. The Goliath does go down, and Wreckz getting killed right after he barely gets that sliver on the lunchbox down. And Mauser almost, I mean, just trying to drop with just himself firing in, doesn't get that far. And Raging trying to do the same thing with 2 Dillos, also going to be taken care of. This is once again blocked by a Seeger this time, so something with a little bit more HP than that Dillo. does make it much safer, and now blue is a little bit more fortified from any drops that green is going to try to do. And now at this point we do have a Omegasaxon dropping with tangos at the front door. Those tangos extremely good because they do have heavy damage, and look how fast this life is going down for green team. That tango plus that hero hog play is being really effective now. Mr. Brush with bombs. I'm not really sure what he's going to try to kill. I guess he's going for the lunchbox, and he is just continually doing bombing runs. So and right now we do have a blue Goliath push supported by Bertha's coming over here, but I don't think this is going to survive very well, especially with two Longhorn and two Dillos and a bunch of mechs, two Ospreys. Even though they are low on the ladder, at the bottom of the ladder for DPS, it's still very threatening. But the thing is, Omegasaxon and Fnoo are both here. Fnoo is here to keep these Goliath alive. They do neutralize this bottom outpost, and this is starting to look like a really great comeback from blue. Although blue is extremely low on life, it is still really dangerous. Mauser trying to do a quick scout, but does not see any holes whatsoever. Has two ratchets. I'm not really sure why, but has two ratchets in his queue. And now Omegasaxon dropping again with these tangos and doing the hero hog, taking out a little bit of damage, but this time those tangos were blocked fairly well by ratchets. I guess that's what they're for. Great drop, Mauser, for that wall, I guess, and it will be able to get a little bit of salvage from those tangos that died. And now we do see blue just continually moving up, continually leapfrogging. There is a Goliath here, which Fnoo is able to keep alive for pretty much forever, unless it's under fire from mechs and Goliaths at the same time as well. And Mr. Brush trying to fire in, but there is still that lunchbox here, and almost gets followed by Raging, but does not get that kill. And Omega just using, playing that Warthog role, playing that unit killer role, gonna attack here. We do not see the typical, I guess considered very standard 3v3 on the green side. Where we do see it on the blue side, where blue team does have a unit killer, that Warthog. It does have that support unit, that Osprey, which is pretty much the only support unit at this time, and it does have that Dogfighter in that Neo, which is the typical combination in the 3v3 play. But we do see a double Osprey on the green team, and it is sort of hindering them in terms of straight up killing units, because they do not have that unit killer. They do have the Dogfighter in that Neo, but Mauser getting himself killed a lot just because he's using that EMP. Just dropping too deep for the EMP, and Mr. Brush trying to get Wreckz before he gets to any land, will not be able to kill him. Oh, but Wreckz, even though he was over that land, really needed to get that gap between some units here on this front door, and decided not to drop before he died, or at least tried to get there before he died. But now we do have a 3 Goliath and 1 Gemini here at the front door for blue team, and I do think this will be the end of the game. There is nothing left here. Raging does leave the game, and we do have blue taking the victory over green team. Omegasaxon, Fnoo, and Mr. Brush do take this 3v3 custom match on Twin Peaks. Very low life, extremely low life there for blue at the end, or not even at the end, in the beginning. But they were able to create a great wall, respond to every single one of green's drops very well, and green, it just was not their day. They got their top taken back from them, they got the bottom taken from them, and blue was able to push way up and get this victory. Looking at the counts here, Omegasaxon going -2, Fnoo in that Osprey going +10, and Mr. Brush going -2, and every single one of green members also going negative, fairly negative as well. I think that was one of the most major contributions to them not succeeding in this match. So blue team does take this victory. If you have a replay, you know what? Just click my link, the send me replays link in my video description. Set up your replays in any awesome game that you play. Send it over, ruy0x@gmail.com, or ruy on Steam. I'm usually in main chat. And also check out my other links. Knomo has a new AirMech blog. Get all the latest news and certain tricks of the trade that he is gracious enough to share with the public. AirMech Fighters. You will see that link in my video description. Also check out Snake's Solid Snake Liquid Snake's YouTube videos from that 1v1 Ouya tournament hosted by ThyTombStone. He does have every single one of the casual bracket fights matches on his YouTube channel, so be sure to check that out as well. This is RUI, and that is game. See you next time.